What's up, guys? I'm Daniel Bennett.
I'm Koko Bermejo.
It's good to be here today. We're playing a master class for all of you. We're going to talk about woodwinds. We're going to talk about how to improvise in church, how to improvise rock music, jazz music. We're going to talk about what it means for a classical musician to cross over into the jazz realm.
Yes, and as for drummers, how to play rhythms and how to play dynamically, we cover all of these bases. It's going to be a wonderful improv class, so please check it out.
Yeah, can't wait to play for you guys. We'll see you on the other side.
See you there.
Many classical musicians struggle with lead sheets. Now, a lead sheet is just a sheet of music with the lyrics of the song, and usually the chord symbols will be on top of the lyrics to the song. So it might say C major, F, A minor. Coco, you see this a lot with your church crew.
We get them all the time.
Yeah, every week, right?
It's almost last minute, like
last
10 minutes
minute
before service, you will get a lead sheet.
Right, they give the band a lead sheet and you have to interpret it. Now the rhythm section, quickly, they're gonna bang out some chords. These are the chord symbols. They see a C major, they know it's C, E, G. Maybe they're gonna invert the chord, put some flavor in there. But the wind players, for instance, the wind players have to know what to do when they see these lead sheets. Now, don't panic, because usually it's one scale you can use over the whole song, unless the song is changing key signatures abruptly. So if the song is in the key of C and you see like C, F, G, A minor, in fact, let's just take C and F. Let's say it's C to F. You can play a C scale over both of those chords. Now you're probably saying, well, shouldn't I play an F scale as well? No, because the F scale is just serving the key of C. C is the boss because that's the home key. Coco, go ahead and set us up with a groove here. He's going to play a C major chord and then an F major chord. I'm going to play one single scale. I'm going to play a C scale. So the C major scale, I rearrange the notes. Maybe I might just articulate the C major triad and the F. So now we're comfortable playing two chords, C to F. You can use a C scale over both of those chords. But let's introduce a new chord, Coco. Let's put a G in there. This is called the 5 chord. In the key of C, we number all the notes of a C scale. C, D, E, F is number 4. We did that. C to F, 1, 4. And then G is 5, number 5. We're going to play 1, 4, 5. You might recognize this tune. It's called Jesus Loves Me. Coco's going to play the form. I'm going to play with him, and we'll stop when we get to the 5 chord so you can hear the power of that new G chord.
3, 4.
You hear that tension? That G chord wants to go home. Resolution, tension, resolution. If you're playing a wind instrument, listen for those moments in the song and get in there and really give us some good notes to really enhance that tension. Let's play the whole song.
3, 4.
Improvise a little bit. Remember, if you're playing at home, you can just play a C scale the whole time and you can rearrange the notes of a C scale. But remember, give it some flavor, give it some soul. Some fun with that. Use your C scale. So I think it's important for classical musicians to be comfortable reading lead sheets. A C chord going to an F chord, and remembering as long as it's not leaving the key of C, you can generally use a C scale.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what you can do with 5 notes. I always tell people less is more. Develop simple phrases. Am I right, Koko?
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Simplicity is a good thing. So this next song is called Bears in a Covered Wagon. It was actually featured on NPR a few years ago because the song uses elements of minimalism, which is really a fancy way of saying not using a lot of notes. I like that.
Right.
I kind of like that. So the song only has 5 notes. So if you're playing along at home, the notes are B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, and G flat. It sounds like this. Easy, right? You can do a lot with those 5 notes. So we're going to play the theme. The song is called Bears in a Covered Wagon. We're going to play the theme, which is those 5 notes, but in a different order. Okay, here's the 5 notes. Here's the theme. I'm going to reorder the notes. Now I'm going to develop the theme. And the energy of the song is going to come from the rhythm section. So if you're playing in church for the first time, listen to what the drums and the bass and the keyboard are doing and follow them. If they're playing loud, if they're playing soft, what the dynamic is.
Correct.
Follow their energy.
Follow the energy. Again, it's, we're playing together.
Yeah.
So we have to listen to one another.
You have to listen to the sound of the rhythm section. You got to change your dynamics. You got to punctuate with your articulation when necessary. I mean, if I'm playing with a really loud band, I mean, Koko, you guys got a big loud rockin' band on Sundays.
Yeah, we can get pretty loud.
You can get loud. I've heard you guys. Now, if I was playing with you guys, I would probably have to punctuate my notes a little harder. So it really depends. I used to play at a church on Park Avenue in New York City for many, many years, and I played with an organist, believe it or not, saxophone and organ.
Oh, okay.
So I had to fit my saxophone into the sound of an organ. So it was much more classical, and my horn had to have a much more classical, straight approach. You know, students ask me all the time, how do I remember a melody if I'm used to reading music? A lot of students were classically trained, and they have trouble looking at a song. A lot of students are classically trained, and they have trouble remembering a song without seeing the sheet music. I tell students, use solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or you can number the notes of a major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which works really well, too. I think Koko is kind of a numbers guy, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, drummers are always thinking about, you're like a math guy.
I know my 5s and 6s and 8s.
Ooh, he's a very smart man. So I'm going to play Somewhere Over the Rainbow right now, and we're going to number the notes of the melody. 1, 8, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 6, 5. I'm just taking the notes of a G scale. I'm playing in G on saxophone, concert B flat, and I'm just numbering the notes, and that's helping me remember where I'm going in the song. So I'm going to play it really straight right now, no inflections, just so you can hear the melody. improvisation. I'm going to bring the notes to life. I'm going to play it a little bit like a singer, pushing and pulling on every note, giving it some soul. My biggest challenge on my instrument is sounding like a singer.
Wow. Okay.
Getting the instrument to feel like a vocalist.
Sure.
Because that's, people ask me, well, how do I play soulfully? Well, really, I can't teach that. You have to listen to singers. And Koko and I were playing a clinic in Los Angeles about a year ago, and a student was asking us about the pentatonic scale. That's a great scale, by the way.
It is.
It's a 5-note scale, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of a major scale. Now, you got to know your major scales, but if you know the major scale, you can isolate 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of the scale, and you can drop those notes into folk melodies, into church music, into rock, into jazz. Now, I grew up playing music in the church, and I still play a lot in the church, as does Koko.
Yeah.
And the pentatonic scale is great, and some of the best melodies that you hear in church just come from these simple pentatonic scales. So we're going to try a little medley for you guys with some classic hymn songs and spirituals, and we're going to just try to work in this particular pentatonic scale. We'll do the F pentatonic. If you're playing at home, it's F, G, A, C, and D. That's all it is. I'm going to reorder the notes a little bit and give it some flavor like we talked about in the previous segment. It has a lot to do with the rhythm and the flavor and being able to reorder notes on the spot. But if you can keep track of the 5 notes in the pentatonic scale, you'll be good. Okay, here's the main theme. Goes up high. I'll work in some other melodies. Here's the good news. If you're playing rock music, folk music, if you're playing in church every Sunday, you don't have to, change scales every measure, because usually there's one kind of overriding scale that you can tune into. The diatonic key. Diatonic literally means in the key of. So what key are we in? Well, maybe it's C major, maybe it's A minor, but that's a very fixed thing. And usually in these songs that you hear in church, the same scale is kind of throughout the whole song, unless there's a huge modulation. So I play a lot of theater gigs in New York City, doubling gigs, where I have to play saxophone, flute, clarinet, oboe, piccolo, and I have to shapeshift. I have to sound like a different player every time I pick up the instrument. I have to own it. I have to sound like a flute player. I have to sound like a saxophone player. So my main instrument is saxophone, but I treat every instrument as if it's equal. So in order to do that, I have to practice switching instruments quickly. You know. Sure. Now we do a lot of touring. We do this every night, so you get a rhythm of how to do this. But really, what I'm doing is I'm just changing the shape of my face, the embouchure. So the saxophone has a nice big open sound. It's got the big tubing, the bell at the end. So it has a very forgiving embouchure. It's loud. Now, when I switch from saxophone to flute, it's very different. Flute has no resistance, and it obviously does not have a big bell like a saxophone does. So I have to make sure that my lip opening is very small so I don't leak air. I don't want to hear any fuzzy, airy sound when I play. I want the lip aperture, the opening of my lip, to be very small. I imagine that I'm spitting rice out of my lips. Sometimes I spit rice at Koko when he's not looking. Oh, I'm a troublemaker. So, small lip opening. So that I can get a nice clear sound. Now, when I switch to clarinet, it's very, very different. Clarinet has more of that square wooden sound with very sharp edges. Clarinet, I can't just hold it up and play like this. I mean, I could, and some people do, but I don't. This would be more like a soprano saxophone. I like to have the clarinet down a little bit so that I can increase my angle of opposition. What that means is, as the clarinet goes down, I don't look down. I keep looking up so that my air is blowing really hard against this mouthpiece, and then it shoots down fast because the clarinet is pointed down. I want every part of the instrument to be nice and equal. To make it sound nice and clear and in tune. I always practice with a tuner. I have to know that every note is perfectly in tune. Wow. Yeah. Let's try Amazing Grace. I'm going to play all three instruments, and you can watch how I switch instruments and how I have to keep the sound nice and consistent. Try it on the saxophone. Try it on the flute a little bit. Encourage you to take a simple melody like that and just try it with each of your woodwind instruments in front of you and try to switch instruments quickly. You know what's funny? Even as I'm playing these songs, I'm imagining the lyrics of the song.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, as I'm playing
Right.
it. Yeah, it's incredible how that helps sort of elevate your own playing.
Yes, it helps you imagine what the feel or the emotion, especially, of the song.
You work a lot with singers. You play with a full choir at your church.
Yes.
How is that, man, as a drummer?
Fantastic. Number one, especially if it's a great choir, I know again, back to playing dynamics, is making sure that I play soft when the choir is singing softly, but I also have the power to drive the choir to sing louder and really get into the emotion of the song.
Rhythm is so important.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Koko's a drummer, so he has to say yes to that.
That's all I do.
That's all he does, folks. So, Koko, why don't you play me a rhythm, and I'm going to copy you, and it's going to I'm training myself to follow the drummer. So give me a little rhythm, and I'm going to play a single note. If you're playing at home, you can play too. I'm playing a C, concert C. Let's do another one. Set me up. You can surprise me, Koko. If you're playing at home, you can get a friend and do it together. One person plays the rhythm and you just copy them. Now, let's work it into a song here. We're going to play a really famous tune called St. Thomas. Here's the melody, St. Thomas. I like that. All right, Koko, give me a little rhythm and I'm going to copy you. So, if I feed off of him a little bit, I can start with that rhythm and then I can kind of do my own thing. So a great way to practice rhythm is to turn a metronome on and play with a metronome. Now, this is the metronome master, Koko Bermejo.
Been practicing with a metronome for 40 years.
And what does that do for you, primarily?
It just improves your sense of time. And if you've ever studied classical piano or violin, I can't remember anybody not using a metronome to practice with.
So here's a cool thing too. The drummer can feed off of the wind player. So if you're a wind player, you have some power too. So I'm going to play a little something on the saxophone, and Koko's going to kind of just follow me. So he could hear that I was playing in 5, 5/4.
That's right.
Boom, boom, ba-ding, gum, boom,
1, 2,
boom,
3,
ba
4, 5.
boom,
1, 2,
boom,
3.
boom. Oh, I like that.
3, 4,
You
5.
guys know the James Bond theme? Boom, boom, ba-ding, boom, 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 ba-ding, gum, boom. That's in 5/4. Also, take 5. Boo ba doo ba doo la doo ba doo boom boom bum. So Koko, again, he's picking up on what I'm doing and he was grooving with me. So the wind player has some power as well. So another great scale for improvising is the blues scale.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Koko says. Yes, it is. And the blues scale can be used in rock, jazz, R&B, church music. And it's very simple in a way. It's a 6-note scale, 7 notes if you include the octave. If you're playing along at home, we're going to play a B-flat blues. The notes are B-flat, D-flat, E-flat, E, F, A-flat, and then the octave B-flat. Sounds like this. And again, if I rearrange the order of the notes, I can create my own line using the blue notes. Now, there's a great song called Blue Monk. Koko and I play this all the time when we perform. It's a Thelonious Monk tune. Let's do it with a different twist today, Koko. Let's do it with a little bit of a funky groove. This is called Blue Monk. It's a blues, B-flat blues progression that he's going to play. I'll play the melody of the song, which uses a lot of the blue notes, and then I'll solo using a blues scale, using a B-flat blues. But I'm going to play it on all three instruments. Okay, here's the melody of the song. Now I'm going to improvise using my blues scale. I can use chromatic passing tones. I can put some flavor in there. I can play it like a singer, like we talked about in the other segment. You have to bring it to life. But let's try it on the clarinet now. Now I'm in the key of C. Here's the melody on clarinet. Then I'll improvise using some blue notes. Now I'm going to try it on the flute. Now the flute is a concert pitch instrument, so I am going to play it in B flat on the flute. So I'm going to play the B flat blues, I'm going to play the melody, and I'll improvise. You got to really do some thinking up here. Now I'm going to improvise a little bit. So you can see there's a lot that you can do with the blues scale. But you got to give it some flavor. You got to play it like a singer. You got to push and pull on the notes like we were talking about in the last segment. You got to give it some flavor, but you can do it. Use that blues scale. The blues scale is so universal, isn't it?
It absolutely is, yes.
That's like jazz, rock, R&B, soul. You can use those blue notes.
Yes, yes. Gospel, rock, folk music. I can't think of any musical style that actually doesn't use the blues scale.
Big thanks to Jill and the library for having us. We had a great time playing for you guys.
Yes, we did, yeah.
If you're a wind player, play these concepts at home. Scales, arpeggios, the single chords, the rhythm ideas, the pentatonic scale, the major scale, the blues scale.
Yeah,
Take it slowly. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. You know, to finish up the clinic, Koko and I are going to just play a little bit for you guys. Should
That
we
would
do
be
that?
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to play and we're going to work in some of these concepts that we talked about in the clinic. So some rhythm ideas. I'm going to switch instruments a lot. Koko's going to set up some cool loops.
Loops, play drums at the same time.
Yeah, he's going to do drums and keyboard at the same time.
Yep.
So I hope you enjoy. Thank you again, Jill. It's been so nice to play for all of
Thank you, Jill.
And as we always say, expect the unexpected.
why we call him the human octopus. He's got many arms.